Welcome to episode 118 of the Character Unlock podcast. My name is Brooker, and joining me as always is my good buddy John.
Hi.
And my good buddy Lee.
Hello.
Hello lads, how we doing?
Good.
Yeah, alright. Can't complain.
Just good.
Just good.
Are you alright, Brooks?
I'm good. Say stuff, Lee.
He's too busy. His brain can't handle the podcast and planning Returnal.
I know. Struggling to keep Lee this evening.
No, I'm okay. Got a lot going on, so I'm a bit preoccupied. But yeah, I'm okay. All good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. It's been a nice quiet couple of weeks. It's been lovely. I don't actually have much to talk about to kind of fill in this bit here. So instead, I'm just going to move straight on and start talking about like actual video game shit that's happened. Who wants to talk about Anthem? This will get Lee talking. This will get Lee talking. Lee, do you want come and tell me about Anthem?
So Anthem was released a few years ago. No, go fucking give you the whole story of Anthem. Basically, the player count for Anthem on Xbox has now dropped below 2,500, despite being on Game Pass or EA Pass.
So only 2,000 people want to play a free game.
Yeah.
It's an all free game, to be fair.
I bet you there's more people playing FIFA 14.
No, because I'm pretty sure it's not on Game Pass.
Didn't say it had to be on Game Pass.
I'm pretty sure 14 was pre-EA Play.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And I think 15 through 18 are getting pulled. I think just in general, like at the end of the month, off of EA Play. But that's not what we're here for. This isn't the FIFA podcast.
I mean, I was just making a joke about how shit Anthem is, really.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked it, but then I didn't like it quite strongly, and I was ultimately just flabbergasted at how terrible it was. So it started on a medium note and just ended on a really low one.
It's good when your gaming experience just starts lukewarm. It doesn't really bode good things, does it?
That's not the best.
Nah.
What else can we talk about? So and I bring it up this way because the story that one of the things we're going to talk about comes out of it. So the Apple and Epic thing has finally gone to court, and all these wonderful documents are coming out that prove or that talk about all kinds of weird and wonderful shit. My favourite one that appeared today was that it has been confirmed that Microsoft have never, ever, ever, ever made a profit off of a console. Ever.
Yeah.
Which I find not surprising, because consoles are generally loss leaders.
Kind of speculated that, like, throughout the entirety of every Xbox generation, just in general consoles.
Yeah.
Like, those things are fucking expensive to make.
Yes.
And you're selling them at, what, £500 a pop?
Yes.
There's definitely more than £500 worth of kit inside an Xbox.
Yep. And as the years go on, it gets harder to shrink that technology down to make things easier to make and easier to manufacture and smaller to build. So the profit margin, I think, gets smaller and smaller and smaller every time. But it also appeared that documents came out showing that Sony charged developers a sort of royalty fee for cross-play games. Assuming your cross-play game has a large player base on PlayStation but makes its money elsewhere.
Yep. Loss of earnings is brilliant.
I can't get my head around that one, because surely aren't the other people already playing on another console?
Yes. But if it's kind of a thing that's been written up so that if they're using Sony's servers, so if they're playing with people on PlayStation, I don't know. but there's a chart. I saw a chart somewhere. Let me go find it, man. It was really interesting. Well, I say really interesting. So it's called the cross-platform revenue share. Yeah.
Sounds like something some twat in a boardroom thought up.
Oh, of course it fucking was. Absolutely. So the thing I'm reading here is from PC Gamer. It says Sony's example chart breaks down how its royalty payments would work. Shows a game earning $1 million a month across all platforms would owe Sony no cross-play royalties if $900,000 of that total came from PSN, while 95% of the total player base was on Sony's platform. In that scenario, the PSN revenue share works out with 90% above Sony's 85% threshold. So anything below 85%, you now owe Sony money, which is an insane number. Imagine expecting 85% of your player base on a cross-platform game to be on that particular platform. It's absolutely mental.
It's like a technical impossibility because there can't be. Sony don't have the market share over the rest of. I mean, they probably have the market share over, say, of people playing said games on Xbox or on Switch. But if you combine Xbox and Switch, probably not. But then you throw PC games into the mix, and that's probably dwarfed for most cross-play games, where the majority of people probably do play on PC.
Yeah. So that example is month 1, and that's where they pay nothing to Sony. Month 2 in this little chart, so cross-platform revenue is $1 million. PSN revenue is $600,000, so the revenue share is 60% with a 95% player base gameplay share. You now owe Sony $52,500.
Man, fuck Sony.
The partner shall provide each SIE territory with monthly reports of any such PS4 revenue share and shall pay the... So you want cross-platform with Sony, you've got to hand over all your marketing data, all your sales data. No wonder nobody wants to share with fucking Sony. Bunch of dicks.
I mean, just when it first came around, I mean, they probably got away with it because nobody was cross-play. There was no cross-play when it first came around. Fortnite forced it through.
Yes.
Because Rocket League and Minecraft couldn't. But Minecraft probably because it's technically a Microsoft product and therefore, they're less interested in because they don't think the player base is there. Fortnite forced it through. But if you think about it, from this point on, now that people know about this, there's probably a bit more wiggle room for developers to not pay for it because they, in theory, could just say, well, then we won't have crossplay on your console.
Yeah.
And your gamers can just play with each other, and then watch the market share possibly increase around everywhere else. Because if you're going to play with your friends on different consoles, why would you buy a PlayStation? Because you can't play with your friends that are using different formats.
Yeah, I'm guessing that this changes quite a bit now that it's actually come out, because obviously this is quite a confidential bit of information that shouldn't really have ever seen the light of day.
It just all seems a bit gay, and it's not to say that the other companies are just fucking sorry. It's just backward. It's really shit.
It's
just shit practice. Like if you're splitting the player base between two consoles, I can kind of get their idea to monetize it if they're getting less than 50%, say. But expecting an 85% when you're splitting it across 3 or 4 in some places, it's just fucking stupid. I'd be interested to know what Microsoft and Nintendo take as well, because I'm sure they're not, Sony aren't going to be the only ones that are on the take on this. But
but we're back to this because Sony do it now, everybody else will, and at some point, you can't all be expecting an 85% player base. The maths just doesn't fucking work.
I mean, Sony are expecting 85% player base, which means that Microsoft and Nintendo will probably, go for the other 15 between them.
The irony is that PlayStation's rarely the best place to play it anyway.
Yep.
not to say that it's not an excellent piece of kit. The PS4 and PS5 were astounding bits of kit, but then it's just a lot of people like to play things like Fortnite, which is obviously crossplay and all that sort of stuff. They like to play it on Switch or on a tablet or on a PC because that's where it works better for that person. Anyone that can play on PlayStation, Xbox, they're kind of going to get the same run anyway, so it doesn't matter. But most people want to play on PC or Switch for the benefits that those two types have. Just bizarre.
Yeah, I can't see the justification now. I can't.
It's just pure for greed, isn't it?
There's greed.
There's no two ways about it.
100%. And as a fan of the console and as a fan of the company, it becomes harder and harder to defend these people when you see practices like this. I'm not saying for a second that Microsoft or anybody else is even remotely innocent in any of this, but those are fucking horrendous numbers, and it is just flat out greed. Just pure and simple.
Well, wouldn't it be less so if they were actually giving something back to said crossplay?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is the only thing that they're giving them is the fact that they can sell their game on their storefront, and that's about it. Because all crossplay games are pretty much played on servers supplied by the company that are doing it. Epic Games servers are the ones that cover off Fortnite, and the Activision servers are the ones that do Call of Duty Warzone. And you have to use Activision friend codes and things in order to friend people on other platforms.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, don't get me wrong, Epic aren't short of a few bob.
No,
because
none of these companies are, and none of them are saints.
Some are. Some of the smaller ones will be. But then, Fortnite made what? Didn't that make something like 9 billion in its first 2 years?
Yeah, something like that.
So, there's plenty of money running around. But when it comes down to games like new releases, let's say like Wreckfest or something like that sort of thing that you would want, then the suppliers of and the developers and whatever of that game aren't going to put in that functionality just because they'll just lose so much more money despite giving it something that the fans want.
Yeah.
So you've got companies that are needing to give away sections of their profits back to Sony because Sony aren't making enough money. But what about the games that are crossplay that don't have the season pass method? Things like Outriders, for instance. They're probably not making that much money due to the fact that the game's been given away for free on Xbox.
Yeah.
So,
well, season pass incoming for that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, almost certainly.
But I just it just seems a bit bizarre, and I'm really glad that it's come to light because now, all of those game players out there, including the trolls and the dickheads that just frequent Twitter, it seems. They're all going to know why their game doesn't have crossplay.
Yeah.
Because it costs them a lot of money, and Sony's the culprit for largely.
Well, this is not only. Do you want to? You're a small developer. You're making a game. Do you want to publish your game to PlayStation, who are going to charge you royalties if someone else plays on if one of their customers plays on another console, or do you go to Xbox, who will give you money to put their game on Game Pass?
Yeah, tough choice.
I know.
Steady stream of money or steady stream of debt.
Yeah, steady income or steady outgoings. You only want one of those, really. I'd be interested to see if Sony ever actually respond publicly to it, I'll be honest.
Well, when do they ever?
They never fucking do. They're a Japanese company.
They'll just ignore it, sweep it under the rug, and pretend it never happened. And when anyone questions them on it, they'll just move on. And the fanboys will just say that, well, yeah, why wouldn't they Sony charge? They've got the market share.
But do they?
The thing they...
Well, I think they do have the larger market share, but there's still no excuse for that.
No. Talking about Sony, they have trademarked Sunset Overdrive, the Microsoft exclusive game developed by Insomniac. 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah, Insomniac largely only work for Sony now, though, don't they?
I think Insomniac are owned by Sony now, aren't they?
Oh, well, that'll be why then. I'm guessing the patent came off or whatever.
Yeah, I think the trademark.
Or whatever. Yeah.
I think they owned. I think Insomniac owned the trademark when they came away from Microsoft. I don't know the ins and outs, but yeah, it turns out Sony have the ability now to trademark Sunset Overdrive. Did any of us play Sunset Overdrive?
Yeah, of course. It was great.
It was good, wasn't it? I liked Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, it was a blast. Hopefully they'll release a second one, but I'm more inclined to think that they're just going to re-release it, possibly.
Yeah. 7 years old, man. Is that 2014 or 2015 or something? Needs
larger market share that might not have played it though.
Yeah, it'll need cleaning up, I think, a little bit. But yeah, clean it up and re-release it, man. I'll play it. I might not pay Sony PS5 prices for it. More on that later. But yeah, I think I'd play it again. And I'd definitely play a second one if they released one, because it was just fucking carnage, wasn't it? It was just a shitload of fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Sunset Overdrive trademark belonged to Xbox. The Insomniac now belong to Sony. So Sony probably just bought it to give it back to Insomniac.
Yeah.
So it's just simple.
I'm okay with
stuff.
that. Insomniac have gone from strength to strength since they've done Sunset Overdrive, because they've done 2 excellent Spider-Man games since.
Sure, they definitely have done that.
Well, that didn't sound convincing at all.
No, it was true. There's nothing else I could say.
One and a half
definitely
Spider-Man
released
games.
2 amazing. Well, yeah, 1 3/4 Spider-Man.
I was going to say, no, Miles Morales was
a full game. It was more succinct.
It was a shorter experience, but it was also a much tighter experience than the first one, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Go on.
I was going to say not going to argue with you because I can't.
Because you haven't played Miles Morales.
Pretty much.
Do you know what you need? You need a PlayStation.
I need it to go on PC.
It's not happening.
Yeah, crossplay onto PC, so that they can get some more revenue from their own development team.
Yes. And finally, the list of things that we're going to talk about. A shitload of games have gone into the Xbox FPS boost list.
Bringing the total up to 97.
That's not bad, considering it was like 12 last week.
Yeah, pretty mad, ain't it? I don't think I've used it yet, so I've got no strong comment one way or the other.
I don't think I have either.
I flick through the list, and on the list, I mean, it's all well and good that they exist, and fair play to them for putting the stuff out, but a lot of those games are stuff that I've either already played and finished, or played to death, or they're games I don't want to play, so it's kind of moot for me, the FPS boost on it. I think outside of maybe playing Battlefield 5 again with the FPS boost, but
Titanfall 2's on the list.
True.
I'd give
am I going to play
Titanfall 2 a
Titanfall
bash.
2 again? Yeah. Should play it more again.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick bash at the list. Unravel 2's on there. I've still not played Unravel 2. I really enjoyed the first one. I never got around to playing the second one.
Wasn't as good as the first.
It was never going to be.
Now you can play it at 120 frames per second.
But I think this is why I didn't bother buying it. Because I was like, well, Unravel was one of those games that just appeared. It had this whole little background with the poor dude from E3 revealing it, and then everybody got to play Unravel, and Yanni was kind of a cool character to play as. But in reality, there was no need for a second one, and it was never going to be that good. Oh, good. Homefront: The Revolution is on that list. Must fucking rush to play that. Jeez, one of the worst games I've ever fucking played.
Yeah, but now you can play it at 60 frames.
I don't need to.
Mankind Divided has been put to 60 FPS.
Mankind Divided I might play that. It would be on the list to go back to if I ever had the time, because I never 100%ed it, and I never did one playthrough, and I want to do 2 or 3. I know Dishonored Definitive Edition and Death of the Outsider both got upgrades. So, and they've been on the list to go back to for a while. So I'll hopefully get to enjoy that.
Metro 2033 and Last Light Redux are both at 120.
Interesting. They're good games.
I mean, they're only 120 if you've got a 2.1 HDMI TV, but still.
I don't know. Pretty sure I do.
Recall is at 60.
Still not played that.
No, neither have I, and I've wanted to play it for a while.
Oh, Lee, Alien Isolation's on the list.
Yeah, I watched a video of it today. It looks brilliant.
So, time to play it then.
Nope. Nope, thank you.
Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2.
Oh yeah, definitely need that. Fucking higher frame rate. Woohoo.
The Evil Within 2 is on there, so yeah, there's another one.
Nice.
So go full horror in. Well, I think The Evil Within 2 is one of the monthly Game Pass rewards points games. Or was that the first?
No, the first one.
Oh,
first
sorry,
one.
Lee. You can't play it at high frame rates.
I will not be playing any of those games.
I've not seen it, so I need to have a look at the list because we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? And I kind of want to have a look at it. Is it on the Game Pass app or the Xbox app? It's on the Game Pass app.
It's on the Game Pass app.
Alright, let's go have a look. Let's check my quests.
Yeah, the list of games, or rather, it's not so much the list of games; it's what you have to do on said games is quite amusing.
Call of the Sea's on there.
Yes, just
Yeah,
that's
you
just
only have to
boot
start
up.
the game though. Yeah, that's some of them. I like those ones that are nice and easy. Some of
Yeah,
those
the
other ones
monthly
are like
ones.
half an hour's gameplay though, and I'm like, I'm not playing a horror game for half an hour or more. No way.
Obtain 5 items in Resident Evil 7. Ooh, that'll take 10 minutes.
No, it takes longer than that.
I was going to say that'll take me an hour because that's 10 minutes for a person who isn't afraid.
Well, there's 2 things before you get in the house.
Yeah.
3 things in the first room in the house. You could be done in
No,
20
it's not.
minutes.
It's not as easy as that. I think you have to go up the stairs.
There's nothing up the stairs. You're fine.
Well, there's something in the attic.
Yeah, but you don't go into the attic.
All right. Well, I'm not going even into downloading the game.
Kill 3 enemies in the Evil Within. That'll take you a little while.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
you
it's
have
after
to get to
chapter
the
1.
second chapter,
Yeah.
which is stupid.
What do you have to do in State of Decay? Kill 11 zombies.
Yeah, that's
Well, that seems
it's
like a
not
piece of
tracking
piss.
very well, but it can be done in the tutorial. It's just not worth it for the points this month.
Kill
I think
20
it's funny that
zombies or
they-
monsters in Minecraft.
Yeah, that one tickled me. It's like, so I was thinking that's horror game, that's a horror game, that's a survival horror shooter, and then Minecraft. What? And then looked and it was zombies and monsters. I was like, oh, okay, clever.
Love it.
So yeah, I'm not doing them. So I'm not too fussed about the monthly quests because they're only worth the points that you get for them.
Yeah.
Generally, I'll do the daily and the weekly quests because they add up to the ones in the monthly that are worth quite a lot. So like 1,000 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing 35 monthly daily quests
Yeah, basically.
and 15 weeklies gets you 1,000 reward points. So those are the ones to work towards. And most of the weeklies usually involve doing a load of stuff in the daily challenges anyway. So
Yeah, I'm not fussed about forcing myself downloading and playing a horror game for 600 points when that's like 3 days worth of points anyway for searches alone. So it's just not worth it.
Fair enough.
yeah, Life is Strange 1 and 2 are on the list. I didn't realise.
Really?
I
Is
mean,
it for those heavy action scenes?
Yes.
Is it 120 or 60 for those?
60, I think. Yeah, 60.
It might make them run nicer, I suppose.
60 for X on both, and 60 is on the S, but only for Life is Strange 1.
Interesting. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do we want to move on?
Yes.
Let's talk about some fucking games then, boys.
Yeah.
Anthem 60, by the way. So,
sorry?
Anthem, that's a 60 as well. So the
So the
2,500 people playing on
people that are playing it can now play it in high FPS.
Yes, but only if they're on the next the X. If they're not on the X, then
I hope they're enjoying
why would they be playing that? I very much doubt anyone with a Series X is still playing Anthem. Why would someone spend £450 on a new console just to play Anthem?
Oh, I don't know. I never played it in the first place. I couldn't tell you. I don't know if it has any redeeming features.
And it's at 60 FPS, so you should play it.
No.
Okay. I tried, Lee.
No,
I tried to make 2,501 players.
BioWare games don't really hit my radar at all nowadays.
But robots, exoskeletons, or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
But it's not Baldur's Gate, is it?
Javelins.
Yes, they are called javelins.
Okay. But
Jingle.
Javelin jingo.
Even your jingles are lackluster today, mate.
Well, in the spirit of the game that I've been playing, let's jingle. We'll just do it twice.
In the spirit of the game you've been playing, it should be Crash.
Yeah. Yeah. Jingle. Who's out of the door? No one. Oh. Can't even open it.
Can't open the door. Oh no. Well, do you want to start then, Lee?
Yeah.
Tell us what you've been playing.
I played the Phoenix Rising DLC number 3, which is called The Lost Gods. So this one is a return back to the Greek pantheon of gods. But what they've changed here is you've got a new character. So your main character is, skip to the end, spoiler effort. Basically, there's a new character, but they've changed the visual of the game to not be a third person anymore. It is now an isometric, which is bizarre, kind of cool, but bizarre. So the puzzles, because they've changed the view, the puzzles work better, but you can't see all of the puzzle because of this. You can't see in front of you anymore. You can only see sort of down.
Yeah.
So you have to run around the whole puzzle to look at it first before you can start it, kind of thing. I found little bits like that slightly awkward. I like how they'd implemented it, and I thought it was great of them to try something else, because I don't think it was quite as simple as just change the camera view. There was things that only would have worked in that view. But, overall, it was really good. It was a good bit of story, and the new character was okay, and the puzzles and stuff were okay. It still felt like if you could change the view manually, it would have played just as well. Okay. So it did feel a little gimmicky at times.
So would you recommend Phoenix Rising then? Because you've played all through the game and 3 DLCs now.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Am I going to enjoy it?
Probably not.
Fair enough, I won't bother.
It's a slog.
Yeah.
It's a long game, but it's not unenjoyable at any point. Well, I think I said on a previous podcast is that where it differs from things like Assassin's Creed, is that dotted throughout the map there is multiple puzzles and things to find. It's not just collectible items. There are those too, but largely the chests that you open that are dotted about everywhere, there's always a different way to open the chest. There's not that many that you just open. So most of them either have a puzzle or they have a group of enemies, and you have to do that. And then there's other types of things as well where you have to do multiple little puzzles to get balls and put these balls in a constellation, and that unlocks something else for you as well. And most of the stuff unlocks new armors that you can use. And transmog is free in this, even though it's an Ubisoft game and they don't like giving transmog away for free.
To be fair, it was free in Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's just
was it free? It wasn't free. It wasn't free in Odyssey. I think you had to pay for it in Odyssey, but it's definitely free in Origins, wasn't it? Or am I
no, it wasn't. It wasn't in Origins.
Oh, okay. That's
There's
right.
no transmog in Origins. I'm pretty sure. Remember, I only got halfway through Odyssey. But I'm pretty sure it's free in Odyssey, and pretty fucking hefty price tag attached to it in Valhalla.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that they can charge for that now. Destiny. And
to make up for the cross-play charges they have to give to Sony.
Yeah, but if you want a game that's it's light-hearted, the story's kind of okay, it's kind of fun for a light-hearted game. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek at times, with quite a few nice puzzles. You can play on story mode, and you genuinely don't need to do any of that extra stuff if you're on story mode. You can just roll straight through the whole game pretty much.
Nice. I might, if it appears in a sale somewhere, I might grab it cheap.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Because I've got it physical, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I remember you buying it physical.
Although you will have the DLC.
Nice.
But yeah, the third DLC is good. Big. Bigger than you would expect for DLC. It's a nice change, actually, to get... Because you get a whole new map.
Yeah.
And you basically start from scratch on this new map. But it's different. I did enjoy it. And Arthur loved it too, so that's a bonus.
Cool.
What else? Dead Cells.
Well, of course.
As you probably won't be surprised, although I've not played too much. So,
I haven't installed Dead Cells. I've not played it yet, but I installed it this week.
I'll see how you get on with Returnal first, mate.
Well, yeah.
Dead Cells is... Actually, it's not as hard as Returnal, really. Because Dead Cells saves.
Yeah.
But anyway, they released a new update, the Whack-A-Mole update, which was free. It came with 3 new weapons, a massive axe and a massive tombstone, and I think it was a massive something else. Wasn't a dildo, but it was probably like a sword or something. I can't remember the third weapon. I've not seen any of them yet since the update, which is the only reason I played it, because I wanted to find those weapons. I've not seen them yet. They've added a few new mutations to it. But this is Dead Cells and Hades are really sort of the front runners of how good you can do a roguelike.
Yeah.
They're constantly making it better. They're constantly balancing and updating. I think this is like the 15th update for the 15th. Like when I say update, I mean proper updates, not just a patch. It's a proper update. It's like the 15th update, and they've only had 2 paid DLCs, which were both great as well.
I think there's quite a big disconnect, isn't there, between like let's call them the AAA games, because you don't get that very often in an actual AAA game like Immortals or Assassin's Creed. Big, freebie updates tend to not happen, and then you get the smaller ones like your Dead Cells, your Hades, because I've been playing it this week. Dead by Daylight is kind of like it. It gets new updates all the time. Like big patches, big updates, and then has stuff that you can pay for to go along with it if you want to, but you don't have to at all. Yeah. I can play on all the nice, brand new, shiny, updated maps, and I don't have to pay a fucking thing because I already own the game.
Yeah, they started doing that sort of stuff with Halo just after pretty much I'd come off playing Halo. Which was annoying because I always bought the DLC for Halo and there was never anyone fucking playing it. Or they would never select that map, or it would never come up in the rotation because everybody had to own it for you to play it.
Yeah.
And it's nice now that things like that, even in Halo as well, that it's nice that they release maps for everybody to play on, but charge you money elsewhere if you want stuff.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is definitely better grounding for a multiplayer element of any game if everyone has the same footing to get in.
Yeah,
you used to have to play specific game modes in order to be able to play with the actual DLC maps.
Well, the thing you always found was like with Battlefield, with all of them, but this is kind of like a late 2000s, early 2010s problem. But like you'd play any of them, any of the ones I love, all the Killzone games had paid DLC for maps, and it meant that by the end of its life, you'd never play the DLC maps because nobody would own them. Nobody's buying DLC maps for these things, except me. I own them. I have to play on them on my own. Yeah, so I think companies just realise that actually you get a short, sharp intake of cash when you release a DLC, but actually you get a more steady flow of income selling other stuff and giving the maps for free because you keep the player base going. Because if I refuse to buy a DLC pack of maps, but now I can't play with my mates who have bought it, I'm just going to turn the fucking game off. And I'm not the only one. So free maps is always the way to go, I think. I just wish everybody else thought like that.
Mm.
Sorry, mate, carry on.
No.
Talking over you.
Well, that's how I like it. And the last game before I move on to the biggie is Outriders. So we finished Outriders.
Yeah, man. Saw the credits for Outriders.
As a team, yeah.
I enjoyed that.
I thought it was a good game to play. The story was okay. I've still got quite a few side missions and stuff to do. I might drag John in and do them at some point, but I'm not itching to get back to it.
No. So when I messaged you guys the other week and said, last week, and said, did we want to try and finish it? Did we want to see if we can get through to the end? I was kind of itching to see the credits because I knew we were towards the story wrapping up. But since then, I've not been desperate to put it back on. No. I've still got it installed, and if at any point you text and go, I'm going Outriders if you want to join in and we'll do some side missions, I would have happily booted it up and come along. And it's still installed, and it will stay installed until you say you're done with it, because then I'll uninstall it, because I'm never going back to it on my own.
I'm done with playing it at World Tier 3, let's put it that
way. To be fair, it's not actually that difficult to play it on the higher world tiers until you come across the bullet sponge enemies. All you need is to have the right gear with you, and the only way to get the right gear is to play on the higher tiers.
Yeah.
So it's a
kind of a
yeah.
I think I started on 9 or 10 on my own the other day, and it's just slightly too tough. But I don't want to spend. I can't level up anymore without more weapons now, so kind of stuck trying to force my way through better gear. But I don't know. Maybe I'll finish it just because I want to see all the possible story pieces, because the side missions did have story and stuff to them as well that were quite amusing.
Oh yeah. I think when you have to use the word "force my way through," I'm like, well.
Well, I wouldn't need to if I had friends, because you've got a bit more backup. But obviously, if you're on your Todd and you die, it's tough because you're starting again, basically.
I'm pretty resigned to the fact that I'm not going to see the full ending to the current content, which is to do the last of the expeditions. Is only available at Expedition Tier 15, and I'm already struggling with Expedition Tier 10. So. And the more I'm playing it, the more I'm feeling cheated and cheaped out of completing the mission, as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
Like when you get all the way to the final boss, and it's just another fucking bullet sponge, and there's nothing you can do to kill him quicker, or even remotely damage him a consistent amount to the rate that you are getting fucked in the ass by so many fireballs and poison, and just like getting chased around by giant fucking assholes.
I've got just the game for you. I've got the perfect game for you, John. If you think that's bad.
Is it Returnal?
Maybe.
It is Returnal.
I don't mind tough games. I hate cheap games.
Returnal doesn't feel cheap.
No. No, it does not.
That's why I probably wouldn't have an issue. Like, to an extent, I don't really have an issue with the Blood Souls games, whatever they're fucking called. Like, because they're not Souls, whatever the fuck. Because they're not cheap. They are bastard hard, but they're not cheap. You lose because you make mistakes, not because the game decides, you know what, fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it feels like the game's saying, you know what, fuck you, but it's usually explained away that you've done something wrong rather than the game, forcing it on you. But at the same time, dying and repeating the same thing over and over again is not my idea of fun.
But do you want to talk about Returnal now, Lee, or do you want to leave it for a bit?
I'm happy to talk about it now, and then you can carry on with yours, because that is my last one.
Yeah.
For this 2 weekly set. So we picked up Returnal between us for a big slab of 70 quid.
Yeah,
cash.
let's talk about that first. This is a AAA game. We've paid 70 quid for this fucking game. £70. I don't care how good your game is. £70 is a lot of money to be asking day one for any game.
You know why it was £70? Because it didn't have any crossplay, so therefore they couldn't get their royalties back.
True.
They had to charge you up front.
That's what it is. I don't play into the games are getting more expensive to develop argument. I think it's bullshit. I know they're getting more expensive to develop, but they also...
You've now got a lot more people buying them.
This is it. You've got a lot more people buying them. It's still the most profitable media on the planet. And frankly, they still give tens of millions of dollars worth of bonuses to executives every year. Don't fucking tell me you need more of my money. Anyways. Because that was the big thing about Returnal, was I really wanted to play it, but I did not want to spend £70 on it. It's too much money.
Yeah. So, I mean, game sharing is going to really come into its own now that 70 quid games are going to be a thing.
Yeah.
£35 each is justifiable.
It's an easier number to swallow, isn't it?
As something that's been out for a couple of months.
The full price of a game like 15 years ago was £35.
Nah, they've been 40 quid since Mega Drive era, mate.
Yeah.
RRP.
I mean, cartridges for the SNES and that were always super expensive. And I get that the actual price more or less has stayed the same, if not dropped a little bit. If you start talking, inflation and that. But like Lee says, so many more people are playing games. Every single PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X that appears on a shelf has been sold. And we're 6 months into its life cycle now, and you still can't buy one on you still can't just walk into a shop and grab one, because the second they're available, they get bought. Everybody is playing games. Everybody is buying games. It's such a profitable medium. £70 is just greed.
I mean, actually, to be fair, whenever you see a console for sale, it's actually been bought and sold at least twice by scalpers.
Well, I mean, the scalper argument's interesting.
Yeah. Well, £70 is stiff. £35 not so much. The only disappointing thing for me about game sharing is obviously I don't have a copy of said game, but I'm not too fussed about that on PS4. I'm more of an Xbox collector, really.
Yeah.
So I played it.
Describe Returnal for me. Because this game is its own thing, its own level of insanity, and it is its whole own genre.
It's a third-person shooter / roguelike.
It's a third-person bullet hell shooter.
Bullet hell, yeah, bullet shoot.
I have never played a third-person bullet hell game in my life.
Fucking mate, you're in for something after you get past that first fucking
I ain't getting past the first fucking boss. It's never going to happen.
I did tell you that I beat the first boss without being hit the other day, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, cool.
Just to fucking rub it in.
Yeah, I just want to rub that one in for you. So, I mean, I played it. I clicked with it instantly. It looks great and it sounds great. I'm torn between using the TV sound and the controller sound and my headset because both are great for different reasons. So when using my headset, you get 3D surround.
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit easier for you to figure out where's what's coming from where.
Yeah.
The ring that appears around Celine sometimes seems a bit sketchy and doesn't appear in time. Like, your warning ring.
Yeah.
So the 3D sounds really good for that because you can hear when something's behind you. I feel like they've thought a lot about this game and thought about how it's going to work because I love how the maps are generated and I love how even though they're the same bits of structure in maps, the map themselves look different each time.
Yeah. So this is because it's a roguelike, it's procedurally generated, isn't it? So
yeah.
they've got a pool of 12 or 15 different rooms.
Yeah, I've not counted. I mean, I know I can remember off the top of my head the 4 or 5 major ones that I always know.
Yeah.
And I know them off by heart enough now that I can jump around them without worrying about where I'm landing.
Yeah, I think I've seen all of the, at least in the first biome. I don't know if it changes after that. I assume it does. But at least in the first biome, I think I've seen every room type that there is. So, I mean,
apart from the ones behind hidden walls.
Oh no, I found a couple of them now as well.
Oh, congrats!
But I think my first procedurally generated, the first game I played on a PlayStation that was procedurally generated, I think was Warframe, and it took me maybe 2 runs to see every room that there was at the time. It took me a bit longer in Returnal, but yeah, I think I've seen every room, and it says procedurally generated. So you start off in X, and then you move through a room, clear it out, move to another room, and obviously these are just tacked on to the end as you go around, aren't they?
Yeah. Which is the same for most roguelikes.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it wouldn't work. If you die and respawn and you have to play that exact same level in that exact same layout, the game would become tedious almost after sort of 1 or 2 deaths. What's good about it is it does change, and the placements of all your chests and your items and your artifacts and all that other shit, it's all different, and it's all randomized, and you never know what you're going to get. Same with weapons. Once you unlock them, you can get them at any point, it seems, although it's largely unconfirmed.
Yeah, so once you unlock a weapon, it goes into the pool, and then the RNG picks it out. So if you've got a favourite, stick with it, and don't pick anything else up, because otherwise you dilute the pool.
Yeah. So I've unlocked all of them now.
Okay.
Through playing. There's some really good ones, and there's some really shit ones.
Yes. There is a 2-round shotgun, which is the most pointless.
It's awful. It's not even that powerful.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I don't know. Once you get up to like your level 3 weapon mods, it might become an absolute beast. But for me, it's just I've not even unlocked all of the level 1 mods because I just don't like it. It's difficult to use. It requires too much close combat.
Yeah.
I like to stick to middle ground-ish.
Yeah, I think I'm about the same-ish. I say this when I play games with you guys. I play as Assault. I get a decent rifle. Well, in Returnal, I get a carbine, however you want to pronounce it. And I stay mid-range from everything. I don't go near anything if I don't have to, because I don't want to die.
Yeah, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's right up my alley, as you know, because I love my roguelikes and I love my Metroidvanias and stuff like that. And
it's very Metroid as well, isn't it?
oh yeah, ain't it just? Yeah, and it's really good. The story is so far good, utterly confusing, but good. The horror sections in it, despite having to take a break halfway through the first one, which is only
It's like 3 minutes long.
4 minutes long. I've not taken a break in any of those sections since, so maybe I'm getting used to it a bit. I just want to see it really bad.
Did the astronaut scare the shit out of you?
He did initially, and has done a couple of other times, but now, or at least I can't really say now that I'm on the fourth biome, but I was seeing him all over the place.
Yeah.
He would just be in the background or be on top of a building just standing there, and it's weird. So I don't fucking know what's going on there yet.
But I kind of, after you first encounter him, I died and then went back to the ship. So the ship is where you spawn at the beginning of every cycle. And I was just wandering around. I sat down in the cockpit and then I looked up and he was fucking staring at me through the goddamn window. I shat myself. Genuinely shat myself.
I haven't done that, so I haven't had that scene yet.
Dude, it's not even a scene. It was just there. The same as he just randomly appears elsewhere. He was just there. And I genuinely went...
Oh, she, isn't it? Presumably.
I assume so. I don't know. I've not gone that far in the story. But it was there. And just... I genuinely shat a brick. It just sent chills all the way up me. It was so fucking scary. I don't know if it was supposed to be. I just wasn't expecting it. And I probably yelped like a little girl. I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have too much bad to say about the game. I know the issues that are compounded online, obviously by a load of trolls as usual.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I believe that they are potential issues. Personally, I've not had a problem with them.
I kind of.
There was a few, wasn't there?
Yeah. So I go. So I don't. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but it bugs me sometimes when people say, "Oh, but there's no bugs in the game. I've not seen them." Well, I've had plenty of games that I've not seen bugs in, and people have complained about it. Doesn't mean they're not there. This Returnal is one of the times where I've seen every single fucking bug that's been reported, every single one, multiple times. Which is a real fucking downer.
It is a bit.
Because
you've had the door issue significantly more than I have. I've had it twice.
Every other run
stays shut.
Every other run I have to restart because the door won't open. And this is after yesterday's fiasco where Housemarque put out a patch to fix a load of stuff, which broke saves and made the game even more unplayable for people. And they said, no, you need to revert to an older patch, which, if because you can't just remove patches on a PS5, is now a delete and reinstall. Thanks, lads. Thank you very fucking much. So I reinstalled 40-50 gigs worth of game this morning. Brilliant. But yeah, and even after that, which is why I sent you a video this morning, and I'm going, for fuck's sake, I'm still running up to fucking doors and they're not opening.
It's always the doors that you've got to go through as well.
Yeah, every time. It happened
to me. My favourite one was I respawned. I think it was on my fourth run, and I couldn't get through the first door. That was my favourite. Literally, the only door where you exit Helios, and that's it. I was like, oh goody. So I did the return to Helios, which is basically like a restart your run.
Yeah.
And then I thought I'd try the challenge mode, which is inside Helios, which is the spaceship anyway, for those who don't know. And I tried the challenge run, which it turns out I think is actually you get given a gun and some shit at the start, and basically you have to do a whole run.
Yep.
I didn't realise, but fortunately, I got into the second room and the game just hard crashed.
So I've had 3 or 4 proper hard crashes as well.
Yeah, but I've still got my ether for that, so that was fine. Ether.
I say ether. I don't know. But yeah, I've had at least 2 hard crashes, 2 hours into runs as well. Like I've lost 2 hours of progress because of a hard crash of the game, which any other game, I think by this point I would have just gone, no, I'm done. But the thing with Returnal is it's so good. When it's working, and I fucking suck at it as well. I can't beat the first fucking boss for love nor money. I'm on something like 12 or 15 deaths now, and he's killed me 4 times, I think. I just can't beat him. And twice I've gotten close to it and not managed to do it. But
yeah, well, these sort of shooters are more my thing, and on my first run, I think I got to Frike.
Yeah.
And he beat me on he had a slither left.
Yeah.
And then I beat him on the second run, which afterwards, any run on him becomes significantly easier because you get a couple of additional items when you start.
Nice.
Basically, after you finish him and you're heading towards the second biome, you get some permanent unlocks.
Nice.
So they make things a little bit easier for you going forwards, which is fun. But, on that note, somebody, somewhere, somehow found the debug cheat on Returnal that the developers had left in the game. There was a few of these debug cheats anyway, but the main one was basically you can spawn any weapon in front of you at your current proficiency rate. It's still a random spawn, but you're basically forcing the spawn in front of you, so you could spawn any gun you want constantly until you get one with a drop that you like. And you can also respawn at Helios, which is where you end up after you die. You can respawn there with everything that you've currently got. So what people were doing, they were doing a whole run on the first biome, killing Frike. Then they were respawning and doing it again, and again and again and again until they got all the artifacts and everything else that they wanted ready to do the rest of their run.
Mental. Which
is just madness. But I managed to beat him on my second run, and then I died quite quickly into the second biome.
Yeah.
And then I did it again. You can, after you beat him, you can skip him altogether.
Yeah, so after you beat... So this is the really frustrating thing for me. So I'm, like I said, I'm on my 15th run. Within 3 doors, I found the room I can go into to skip to biome 2. Every time I find the Crimson Room without fail. I'm like, well, this is no fucking good to me because I can't get the key. What's the point?
Yeah.
But I think for me, the biggest testament to the quality of this game, for the most part, is that I still want to play it.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't...
Still playing it. That's the same thing with me. That's the same thing with all these roguelikes that I've ever played. Dead Cells, Hades, all of them. Whereas it didn't matter how many times I died, I still want to play it.
Yeah. So I think I said to you, so I had a really good run this morning. I'd done every room that the game would give me in the first biome. I upgraded myself as much as I possibly could, and I still fucked up the boss. And I said to you, I was like, I'm pissed off that I haven't moved on, because of course I am. I've just wasted a 2-hour run because it's a roguelike. There's no saves, but I'm not that bothered. I fucked it up. It's no one's fault but mine. I should have been a bit more bloody careful. It's not like I had a 2-hour run and the game crashed, or I had a 2-hour run and a fucking door wouldn't open, so I had to restart my cycle with nothing.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing about what is causing a large amount of concern for people, because a full run can take anywhere up to sort of 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
and nothing on that run is saved at any point during that run. You simply just respawn, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's where it saves when you respawn. The thing for me is, and largely because there is a lot of issues with this game, and people are seeing the issues, and they are still putting out fucking patches, is that any of that can have the potential to wipe your entire run.
Yeah.
The other games have managed to figure out a way of getting around it, and I don't understand why they've done it this way. And personally, that's absolutely fine, providing rest mode keeps working for me.
So this is another thing for me. So it says when you first boot up the game, there's no saving. So I don't know what Dead Cells runs like. My only experience with current modern roguelikes is
Dead
Hades.
Cells saves even if you press the Xbox guide button.
Yeah,
it saves.
So and Hades, if I want to turn the game off, I can save and exit. I can't save scum with that save because the second I start the game up again, the save's trashed straight away. That's pretty much what I'm looking for. Returnal, there's none of that. There's no saving, there's no nothing, there's no checkpointing, no fuck all. If you die, you go back to the beginning. If your PlayStation crashes, back to the beginning, get whatever.
They update the game back to the beginning.
Yeah, and this is for me, this is the biggest problem, and I feel like it. You turn on the game and it says there's no saving. If you're mid-run, it literally says if you're mid-run, use the console's rest mode, and the game will be saved, or the game will be waiting for you. Okay. Apart from the fact that sounds like something a fucking Twitter troll would tell me, because the game's got no saving, it legitimately sounds like some cunt I come across on Reddit will go, "Oh, what are you worried about saving? Just put it in rest mode." Fuck off.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, the other day they put out a patch for the game, which I was running the game anyway at the time. But if my game was on and in rest mode, it would have updated the game and restarted it straight away. Same as if the PlayStation took an update.
I decided to turn all of auto updates off once I read that that's what was happening to people's games.
Yeah, well,
but, I shouldn't have to.
No, you shouldn't have to.
I should be able to go and play another game and not have to leave it running or finish a run.
My biggest issue is that they say use rest mode, and actually I don't know what it is, and I know a few other people have got the problem as well. Half the time I put my console into rest mode, it takes a giant shit on itself and has to do a database repair when I turn it back on.
Yeah, that's quite a common problem.
Yeah, I know. I've taken to avoiding putting my PlayStation in rest mode because I don't want to damage it. It's a £500 bit of kit. I don't want to have to be sending it off for repair at any point.
Yeah. So the one major issue with this game, which is this saving issue and the rest mode issue, the one major issue that I feel wouldn't be an issue if this game was on Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't, because you can suspend the game.
Yes, you can.
And then it's not even there anymore. You can come back to it in 6 months and it's still just waiting.
Yeah.
Provided you've not done 5 other games between then and then.
I think if you suspend it, it's permanent, isn't it?
I think
if you manually suspend something, I think that sticks. I don't know, but either way,
I think
you can still go and play another game.
Yeah, you're right.
But for me, so the save issue is an issue because, like you say, I mean, I'm never, I don't think, going to see a run that lasts 4 or 5 hours. I'm frankly just not that good at the game. This game is going to be a game I'm going to enjoy it for quite a while, I think, but I do genuinely think I'll struggle to see the credits, and that's fine. I can't finish everything, and I've always said I'm pretty shit at a lot of games. I like what I like, and I'm good at what I'm good at, and that's just it. I think the bugs are bad. I think the way Housemarque, I've got a lot of time for Housemarque as a developer. They've done some fucking awesome games. Resogun is amazing, and was a shitload of fun, really fucking hard, but a shitload of fun to platinum. But I think this is a uniquely bad game to have those kind of bugs in. The developers seem very standoffish about it. A lot of people politely, obviously people have been cunts about it and said, "Oh, give me saves," and other people have been bigger cunts and said, "No, get good." But the developers have been very, yeah, we know, fuck off, to a lot of people, and I've seen them do it on Discord as well. Get really uppity about people criticising their game. And I'm not talking about arseholes doing it. I'm talking about people like politely requesting features and asking why certain things were done in certain ways. And it just, I don't know. They're not making any friends with the way they're handling this release.
Not with that following the update today.
Oh my god, the patch update this morning.
So funny. It was like, so basically, if your save game has got 26 kilobytes of data, it's fine, and that'll be fixed by the update. But if it's got 0 kilobytes of data, it's broken.
Yeah.
If you can't get one from PS Plus, sorry, tough shit.
Yeah.
Basically.
Literally tough.
Sorry, we've trashed your save game for you by fucking up our end.
I genuinely, I think it's brilliant that players spend a week moaning about wanting a save, so they put out a patch that breaks people's saves. Genuinely think that's amazing.
Yeah.
The thing is, I said I love this game. It's so good and it's so much fun, and it's genuinely addictive. I think the addictive nature of it is like Hades. Hades is my go-to example for this because it's the only one I've played recently. Mm. But Hades, when I die, I'm like, oh fuck, right, let's do that shit again. I can do this, and you would want to keep going. But the thing is, like, my longest run on Hades, and I got quite far. My longest run on Hades is like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, a full run on Hades is, even my first one was only about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I wasted an hour and 20 minutes this morning just running around the first of 6 areas, buffing myself up a bit.
Wait, there's 6? Yes. Yeah, that makes sense, because on 4 there's clearly 2 other exits.
Yeah, there are 6 biomes.
Mm.
That's all I know. I don't know about anything after that. I've read hints about the continuation after 4 and 5, but I've kind of avoided it until I decide to go see the story on YouTube.
I've not seen anything.
I'm still trying.
I mean, I'm hoping to. The first boss took me. I did it on the second attempt. For second boss, I did it on the first attempt, which fucking surprised me. And the third boss was second attempt, which was fucking mental. So I'm hoping that the fourth boss is second attempt.
Yeah. I mean,
but I'm telling you now, mate, the fourth boss is just fucking stupid, even in comparison to the third.
I'm going to keep trying, but as other games come out, it will just end up getting pushed to the back, and it's, But again, and I kind of feel I have to hammer this point in, it's not a reflection on the quality of the game. The game is fucking excellent. I love it. I genuinely, every time I die, I want to keep going. And it is, like I say, it's a testament to the game that even with the bugs that are pissing me off and the fact that I can't even get past boss 1 of 6, I still want to keep going. I think all of that is a positive. Yeah. But as other games come out, this time tomorrow, I'll probably be playing Resident Evil 8 because Resident Evil 8's out tomorrow. And as other games come out and I kind of go, well, do I want to waste another 2 hours doing Returnal, or do I want to bash through a bit of Resi 8 or whatever else I happen to be playing? That, I think, is how Returnal will vanish into my library, never to be finished, because I end up just not being able to justify the time that it asks, because I genuinely don't think Housemarque or Returnal is particularly respectful of my time.
No, it is not.
Whether that's a design choice or just arrogance on the developer's part, I don't know, nor do I care. That's what they've wanted to do. If they want to add a difficulty slider in to drop the difficulty down a bit, I'll pick it up and finish it straight away, because I just need to be able to put it onto normal because it is a very fucking difficult game. Unlikely to happen. Give me a God mode like Hades. I'll take that.
Hades God mode was very clever as well, how it was implemented.
Yeah. I'd take...
Did you ever use it?
No.
So how Hades
I probably will,
God mode
because I still haven't seen the end of Hades either, and I know you need to see the end 10 times to see the end of the story.
Yeah. It doesn't make you any stronger or anything else. Every time you die, after you turn it on, essentially, your defense grows by I don't know the numbers. Let's say 2%.
Yeah.
So once you've died 5 more times, you've got an extra 10% defense. Essentially,
Cool.
so you just last longer.
Yeah. But I mean, to be
I
fair,
find something for that in real life.
To be fair, that's all I kind of need with Viagra, mate, is what you're looking for.
No, that's Get Hard. I can do that.
Oh, even better than cock ring. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
The worse you are.
I got some Viagra in my eyes once, and I just went round giving everyone hard stares all day. And I've got a myriad of Viagra jokes, but let's move along.
Yeah, we don't need those. In short, I think Returnal is excellent, and I haven't played the new Demon Souls, but like Returnal, it does showcase the PS5 wonderfully.
Yeah, I think so. The controller is when I'm not on the 3D headset. I think I actually skimmed over this earlier, but when I use a TV, the controller does a bit of the sound and as well, which works brilliantly well with the little speaker in there, even though it's tinny as shit.
Well, it is tinny as shit, but the thing is, so when after like the first 2 or 3 rooms, you unlock an alternate fire for all your weaponry. And I can't keep track of it. Mate, there's too much stuff going on screen. If I was just watching the little thing on screen waiting to see my alternate fire, I'd never see it. I'm too busy in the middle of battles.
I can only see it if you hold the alt fire button, so it seems pointless. You can hear it on the 3D headset, but it's nowhere near as clear as hearing it on the controller.
But yeah, hearing it and a little bit of feedback from the controller when it's ready to go, it is one of the most satisfying things. Like you're in the middle of a battle against one of those, I don't know what they're called, but they're just elite squid things that kick my ass all the fucking time.
They ain't elite squids, mate.
No. Well, they are for me so far. Yeah. But yeah, so you kind of you're in a battle with a couple of them, and suddenly your controller vibrates and pings at you because your alt fire is ready to go, and your controller has literally rescued you. It's absolutely brilliant. It's such a brilliant mechanic, and everything about it, like you can feel the rain on it, which I think is okay. It's a bit gimmicky, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think the controller's a masterclass.
Yes,
I still prefer the Xbox because ergonomically, that's just what my hands are used to playing.
Yeah, I think.
But the PlayStation controller is thoroughly enjoyable to use.
I would like some paddles on my PS5 controller, please.
Yeah,
especially
that's
for
generally
Returnal.
what I'm missing. Yeah, I mean, everything about Returnal for me at the minute is great. Bugs aside, is brilliant. The only thing I would like is the ability to dash. I mean, when she dashes, she uses the kit that she's got on her back.
Yeah.
As a boost for said dash. So why can I only dash once when I'm in the air and I can't dash again until I hit the floor? Should be able to dash, like even if it has a cooldown of half a second or a second.
Yeah.
Should be able to dash more than once, because basically if you jump, especially later in the game, you have to jump to dodge some stuff. You got to jump over it. You can't dash through it anymore. So you jump over it, and so then all you've got is a dash in any particular direction, which quite often just either backs you into a corner or lands you straight into another attack.
Yeah.
The ability to jump and dash forward and then dash a different direction, let's backwards, just to get away from something else, then that, I think, for me, would make it a lot better. But that is my only complaint, and it's a minor one at best.
Yeah.
To jump on quickly, apparently Corsair are working on a SCUF controller for the PlayStation 5.
Nice.
So paddles are coming.
Yeah, well, I haven't got 160 quid or whatever they want for a third-party controller. I didn't mind paying the price for Xbox One because it was Microsoft, and so I figured it was legit. But I've just never been too keen about third-party stuff.
Scuff stuff's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Decent
I think I was
quality.
burnt by like Razer or something when I was younger, and I had something that ended up being shit, and then they wouldn't replace anything.
No, that's fair enough. Let's move on from Returnal.
Yeah, so it's great.
It is great. I
It's
love.
not expensive
It's very expensive.
and a little buggy,
Yeah.
but it is a brand new game, so we expect that.
Yeah. But like I said, I think price point aside, the kind of game it is, bugs need to not be there.
Yeah. Well, all of the other roguelike games I've known have had a long period of either game testing, previews, betas, whatever, or just basically they've released a very small game and then slowly added to it over time to make it the games that they are today.
Yeah.
Whereas with this,
It's a AAA roguelike.
They should have done some sort of large scale testing for this one, just for cost.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. They're minor complaints, and like I say, that for me they're outweighed by the game. I really enjoy it. But yeah, please do better, Housemarque. Do you want to go, John, or do you want me to go?
I can go. Only because I've got 2 games that I've played.
Yeah, crack on.
So I'm gonna talk about MLB The Show because I feel like I've played enough of it now to have an opinion, and that is that I don't like baseball games or baseball.
Fair enough. Baseball is a uniquely boring game.
Yeah,
no, it's not uniquely
like
boring.
really slow. It's really slow rounders, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm
It's
not a fan.
okay. I mean, I've not played the Ultimate Team equivalent. I've only played what is essentially the career modes, and even then, I'm not even particularly far into it. I've only played at AA level, which is 2 below the Major League, I think.
I thought he was going to say 2 A levels for a minute.
No. So there's AAA, and then I think then it's the majors above it. But there's also levels beneath AA. But I'm playing with some team called the Rumble Ponies, I think Binghamton or something. But I'm playing 2-way, so it's both pitcher and hitter. And I'll be honest, the pitching is considerably easier than the hitting, which seems backwards. But for the hitting, it's like timing and right swing and guessing where the ball's going to go. It's like so many different factors, and my brain can't work fast enough to make my fingers move at the right speed to do the hitting part.
Oh, the old age is hitting him.
Yeah.
It's just
It's all downhill from here, mate.
Enough practice, I could probably get there eventually, but I don't want to. And then I just think, I'll just focus on pitching then. And then after a while, you kind of think, well, that's just boring because now you're just throwing the ball 9 times in innings at best. Well, actually, no, at best is you only throw it 3 times in innings, but at best, then it's like 9 to get strikeouts across the board. But still, that's not fun. And then I thought, I'll play on the franchise mode or play on the Ultimate Team equivalent. And then after a little while, I was just thinking to myself, well, I don't really enjoy this on FIFA, and that's a sport I actually like. So, yeah, I think I'm done with MLB, The Show, which is a shame. But I've given it a download, which is money going to MLB, and, Microsoft being happy that they've got themselves onto it. So there's that. Other than that, I've played a fair bit of Football Manager. I have tried, because I got onto the Xbox Game Pass xCloud thing for iOS and Windows. So I played Portal Bridge Constructor on my phone because it's got the enabled controller scheme on touchscreen for the phone. So clunky as fuck because it's trying to play on the cloud using your touchscreen phone to control the thumbsticks and A button and such. So it's difficult. I want to try and connect a controller up to it, but it's actually quite difficult to get onto the app for some strange reason. So I've got it's not an app, it's a web browser. If I follow the email, it takes me to the web page and it works. And then it says on the web page, press the share button at the bottom to save yourself a link to your homepage on your phone, because it's standard Safari. If I load through that, it tells me that it doesn't work and that I need to have an activation, or rather sent an email to say that it's assigned to my account, which makes me feel like, but it must be assigned to my account because I got the email in the first place. And if I follow the email link, it works every time. A weird little bug. Doesn't bother me. But I did see that Dead Cells is on the xCloud things, and I know how much Lee talks about Dead Cells, so now I kind of want to play it on my phone.
Seems like the kind of game that would make you lob your phone across a bus in frustration.
Well, that's good, because I'm not going to have my phone in my hands when I'm doing it. It'll be sat on charge while I have my controller.
Now, if you're playing on a controller, that should be okay.
Yeah, I think Dead Cells isn't one of the...
It is. I think it is on screen.
Ah, well, if it's got an on-screen variant, then no, I'm not playing it with the screen controls because it's
Who
laggy
plays
at
with
best.
fucking screen controls, man? They need a slap.
Yes, they do.
Played Football Manager 21 some more. I'm with RB Leipzig at the moment in 2023, 2024. But that's not something worth talking about to you guys because I'll just bore the listeners more.
You realise we just spent 20 minutes talking about roguelikes, right?
Yes, but at least it's a new game.
True.
And the only new game I've played is MLB The Show, which is less interesting than a roguelike.
Agreed.
I finally got around to connecting my steering wheel and pedals up over the weekend.
To your car or to a game?
To a game. So I played Forza 7 with steering wheel and pedals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How is it?
It's been It's, easier.
Fair enough.
I need to do some configuration. Apparently, my steering wheel, despite the fact that it's connected up to it, I can't access the changing. I can't change the buttons and what they do because it doesn't show up in the accessories tab as a different controller.
No, you've not got to park on any drives or anything in that game, have you?
Fucking hell, dude.
Wow, that's a throwback and a half. I still haven't actually got the paintwork fixed on my car for that.
Well, it was Josh's fault. And yours, obviously.
Yeah, it was mostly Josh's fault for saying I could do it.
Yeah.
Well.
Lols.
Fucking hell.
Is it still too soon?
No, it's fine.
Oh, cool.
Like I said, I still haven't got the
paintwork
paintwork fixed
man.
on it
I'd be fucking distraught. I'd still be distraught now.
Well, you should be distraught. You opened the gate the wrong way around.
I opened the fucking gate, man. I didn't drive you through it. Jesus.
I've lost my train of thought now. I'm thinking about trying to park in London.
Forza,
yep. Played it with the steering wheel. I need to fiddle around with the settings some more. Change the sensitivity because it's a bit too high. And then afterwards I might try the steering wheel on F1, but I'm kind of less interested in doing on that because there is apparently a new F1 game coming, funnily enough. New F1 season.
Who'd have thunk it?
Well, they did promise that in F120 that they were going to put all of last season's tracks on it because it ended up being different due to COVID. I don't know whether they did or not. Probably because Cody's got bought out by EA, so it was kind of difficult for them to do that because EA wouldn't do it for free, I guess.
No.
Anything else that I've done? Nope, don't think so. Played Warzone a little bit. Don't know why. Just kind of have. Must have got bored doing stuff. I think I was getting bored playing Destiny because it's getting close to the end of the season. Guardian Games happened, and I got the exotic from Guardian Games.
We had a night on Rocket League.
Yes, we did. We did have a night on Rocket League.
How was it?
Phil was on the Racists team.
Yeah, Phil was on the Racists team, always. Langston, I think he'd been on all afternoon in the training mode, just practicing.
Fucking
because
hell.
He was better than last time, so he must have been putting in some practice, because last time he was abysmal. I mean, we're not talking Phil level bad, but he was pretty bad.
Yeah, he was lucky if he could even get near the ball.
Yeah, Phil scored a lot of goals yesterday. They were just own goals.
Yeah, although I'm pretty sure I have the record for most own goals in a game.
No, that's Phil's, mate.
No, I'm pretty sure I managed it because I feel like the other team won. It was like 6-4 or something, and I scored 4 own goals for them.
I still think it's Phil.
Probably Phil. He is bad.
But yeah, it was good. It was good overall.
Yeah, Lee kept fiddling around with the settings, pretty much just randomly choosing.
It was totes random.
So yeah, we ended up even playing a basketball game and a couple of games of hockey.
I liked the giant puck.
The giant puck is fun.
There's a giant puck
that barely fucking
mega
moves.
gravity. And it just didn't go anywhere. That was funny.
I quite liked the heat seeker mode, even though it was an absolute fucking ball ache trying to work out shit.
Yeah, you literally just need all players just to stand in the goal. They shouldn't go anywhere else.
Yeah, if you go somewhere else that isn't in front of the goal, you are fucked.
Have you played that mode yet, Brooks?
Yeah.
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 That's quite fun.
And I scored the best basket in the basketball mode because I caught it on the start and just like launched it straight in.
Nice.
Lucky.
But I think Lee scored the best goal of the night overall. From when he touched it a good 5 minutes before it went in, it just happened to get bounced around a lot by the AI on the other team.
No, it wasn't the AI. It was you, Phil, and an AI. And then eventually it went in the goal, and I hadn't touched it for about 3/4 of the match. And I still got it. That was funny.
So yeah, Rocket League is always as fun as it can be. So happy with that. And I'm going to go with that's about it for me.
Cool. I'm a bit gutted I missed Rocket League last night.
Yeah. I streamed a little bit for a little while.
Well,
I mean, you'd already gone to bed at that point, so it was kind of...
Yeah, I was due to do like 4 hours worth of streaming with Paddy, which didn't kind of pan out. Okay, I've only really got, I think, 2 other games, and one of them I'm going to be dead quick talking about as well. Because obviously Returnal's my big one. I started BioShock.
Cool.
I love BioShock.
Is BioShock on the FPS list? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Okay.
BioShock has been uninstalled.
Oh.
It has not aged that well.
Expected.
The gameplay mechanics of it have not aged that well. It's alright still, but I think, like everybody else that's played BioShock has, I've put it on such a pedestal that when I went back to play it again, I was like, oh, this is not that much fun. The story is still excellent, because of course it is. Stories, unless, they're written by Eddie Murphy, they tend to not age badly. If it's a good story, it stays good. And that's how stories work. But the gameplay for Bioshock is not that good. So I didn't get very far before I kind of got a bit annoyed and turned it off. And then my only other game, I spent a few hours last night playing Dead by Daylight. And like I said, I was supposed to do some streaming. It was supposed to be with Paddy and a few others. But bless him, Paddy had some technical issues. He couldn't. Apparently, the PS5 doesn't do what he wants it to do for streaming. I don't know. He wanted all of our chat, I think, going through the stream, or wanted all of our chat going to him and not through the stream. I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to do, but it wasn't working. So he kind of tapped out and took the night off. And
it's a shame that he wouldn't just play it anyway without stream.
It was a shame, but I think he's had a bit of a crappy week. His PC shat on itself, and he had to rebuild a load of it, and he lost a load of his work, and he lost some of his games. So I think he was having a bit of a shit one, and he just, when the PS5 wouldn't do what you wanted it to do, it's like you just go, fuck this. The whole fucking world's against me. I'm just going to turn off the world and sit on my sofa and sit in peace and quiet for an hour. Bollocks a lot of you. I think that's kind of where he was last night. I don't blame him. We've all had days like that.
Yeah. He didn't seem particularly happy on Tuesday when I was watching his stream.
No.
Just overall.
No, because Tuesday would have been the day he just finished rebuilding his PC.
Yeah, he was playing Star Wars.
Playing Jedi
Fallen Order.
Yeah. But yeah, so he tapped out. So there was me, our mate Sam, who I know from Fright Fest. She's worked with Paddy before on his films, and Paddy's DP and co-owner, co-founder of his film company, a guy called Baz, who streams as Baz Nudder Gamer. Because I'm not doing it in the Irish accent because it would just be offensive. But it was a good laugh. It's a slight struggle because Dead by Daylight's a 4-on-1 game. If you play as a team of 4, you can kind of jump in and just play as survivors, and you'll just be matched up with a guy who wants to play killer, and it usually works. But it was taking 5 to 10 minutes a pop to match us up with a 4th person to play as a survivor with us, and then find a killer to match up with as well. But it was Dead by Daylight. It's a lot of fun. It's super tense. It's pretty scary. It's been a little while since I've played, and there's been a lot of updates, including a very, very nice graphical update for the PlayStation 5 as well. It looks stellar. And there's some hilariously terrifying new skins for all the monsters in it. One of which, when I saw it, genuinely made me shriek. Really, I freaked out. Because you guys haven't played Dead by Daylight, have you?
I have.
You have? So when
I went downstairs in a building after doing something in a tutorial, and that's where I tapped out.
So when you're downstairs in the building and you get the heartbeat because you're near because the killer's near you.
Yeah, that's where I tapped out.
Yeah, so the heartbeat freaked me out a little bit, and I knew whatever was chasing me was somewhere near. So I'm trying to sneak away quietly so I don't leave the chicken scratch behind and they can't see me. Because if you run, you kind of leave a trail behind you that the killer can follow. So I was trying to slowly get away from a killer who I didn't know where they were, and I turned around and this fucking giant alien-looking thing was on top of me, hacking at me. I genuinely shat myself. It was good fun though. So there was the 3 of us just having a laugh and a joke, and just trying to run away from a killer. I got a few trophies out of it. I'd done quite well a couple of games. I was the sole survivor on one, and when you're the sole survivor, so the basic premise of Dead by Daylight is you have to repair up to 5 generators. Once you've repaired those generators, you can go and open a door, and then you escape. Obviously, all of those things are noisy and slow, and a fast killer who's coming after you will almost certainly win if you're not very good at the game. The three other survivors got their asses handed to them, and I was the only one left behind because I was lucky and hid in a box, and the killer didn't see me. I hid in a cupboard. Right, the guy that was playing killer was so desperate to get Baz and Sam, who had been caught in her traps, that he didn't actually see me as he ran past me. So I tried to go rescue the other two who were down in the basement, and they died before I got there. And then the killer came down, so I quickly hid in the cupboard, and he didn't see me, thankfully. So he fucked off, and I snuck out. So when you're the only survivor left, you don't have to do the generators in the door. A hatch opens up somewhere on the map. It's randomly generated. You don't know where it is. It makes a noise if you're close to it. And I just had to sneak and find this hatch before the killer found it or me. Because if he finds it, he can close it, and then I have to go and open one of the doors, which takes forever. You're never winning like that. So I got my trophy for exiting through the hatch because I found it. I was well lucky.
That sounds like heart palpitations for me.
Mate, it's so tense. It's so tense. But I get the heart palpitations as well, but I think that's the difference between someone that likes horror and someone that doesn't, is that I like that. You know, I want to be on the edge of my seat. I want to be crapping myself. I like, you know, the roller coaster feeling of it. You know, at the end of the day, it's just a game and nothing's going to fucking happen. But I like, just for a little while, to be absolutely terrified of the ghost-faced dude that's chasing me around the fucking map. But we were matched up with one of our games. We were matched up with a very high rank killer, and we were done in like 3 minutes. This thing fucked us up completely. Probably my quickest game of Dead by Daylight ever. But what's quite cool actually is I've not bought Dead by Daylight digitally. I own it on disc. But when I went onto the store, I had the ability to download the PS5 version for free, and it still picked up all of my DLC that I owned. So I have the nice PS5 upgrade, and it cost me nothing.
That's cool.
I thought Dead by Daylight had gone free to play.
It may have done, which is why it might have been free. It went on. It did go on PlayStation Plus for 1 month, and it went on to Game Pass. I do not know if it went completely free to play. It's possible it did, because there's a lot of in-game content, but there always has been a lot of in-game content to buy.
Yeah, I don't think it's still on Game Pass, but I'm pretty sure it's still. I'm pretty sure I can still play it. I'm gonna check the Game Pass app now, to be fair. So.
But the crossplay works really well as well. We were matched up with a couple of people who were playing on PC and Xbox.
It is still on Game Pass, and you occasionally get perks from Game Pass to get free stuff for it.
Nice. But it is a really fun game. I have a lot of time for Dead by Daylight, but it's one of those lifetime to master kind of games. So unless you're going to really commit to, you know, dozens and dozens of hours. I mean, Sam, who I play with, she's loaded easily 1,000 hours into Dead by Daylight and has followed it since it was in, you know, it was like a Kickstarter game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So she's followed it since day one, and has played it ever since she was first able to. So she's mildly obsessed, whereas I just kind of enjoy jumping in and making a fool of myself. But the problem is, like, she's a really high rank, and your rank is dynamic dependent on how you and your team play. So of course I roll in, and me and Baz just completely fucked up Sam's ranking, and it's going to take her months to get back to where she was, and I feel slightly bad for that. But
so, there's a guy that I follow on Twitch who plays exclusively Dead by Daylight. He's really fucking good at it, to the point where he actually plays with other people's builds for them.
Yeah.
On Twitch, because PlayStation share whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, when you talk to you guys probably won't, because I don't suppose you ever would. But if you talk to Sam, so when Sam first started teaching me how to play Dead by Daylight, it was I tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of listening to you two talk about Destiny. So there is a line when you guys talk about Destiny as to what I can understand, and after that it's all in-game lingo, and it's all just complete. It's gibberish to me. And this is how it's like playing Dead by Daylight. Like you'll run around with that, and she'll go, "Oh, he's got this." I'm like, "Well, what the fuck is that?" She'll go, "Oh, it's just a build. It's just a thing that he can do." I'm like, "Well, just fucking say that then, man." So there's a perk you can put onto your killer. It's literally, I shit you not, it's called Chili and Barbecue. And what it does is when you're the killer and you grab one of the survivors, when you hang them on a hook, you can then see where, for a brief moment, you can see where all the other survivors are. Because there's no map, there's no indicators, there's no nothing for anybody, not for killers, not for survivors, not anybody. But when you use this particular perk, you hang somebody and then you can see them. You can see the other survivors. Only briefly, but you get an idea as to where they are. And the only time that changes if you're hiding in a cupboard. He can't see you. But the first time she yelled, "Oh shit, he's using chili and barbecue," I went, "What the fuck are you talking about? This is not. This is no kind of language I'm used to. Tell me what you're fucking talking about." It is 100% the kind of game where you really need to spend time looking at all the perks, unlocking stuff. It's such a complicated game, but it's so much fun. And to pick up and play is fun, but you do tend to piss off the hardcore players when you pick up and play and you don't know what you're doing.
I'll be honest, chili and barbecue sounds delicious, though.
It does, doesn't it? But yeah, it is a fun game. I'm infinitely gutted that I can't get you guys to play with us because I know you won't. You're not really into it. But yeah,
I mean, I'm not into it, but I'd still play if it was a full. If you needed like a fifth.
I might hold you to that one day.
Well, like it's installed to my Xbox and it doesn't get uninstalled.
Oh, I might have to install to see if my DLC is crossplay. I don't think it is. Anyway, but yeah, Dead by Daylight. That's the only other game I've really played. Fun game. I want to play it some more. Almost as much as I want to play more Returnal.
Ah. Cool.
That's it. Unless anybody wants to talk about anything else.
I've got nothing else.
No?
No. Thanks for having me.
I don't think so. Something about plugging some kind of film recording.
Yeah, I got that. Don't you worry.
What are you talking about?
I'm looking at the email.
So I stole Lee for another podcast this week.
Is that what that was? I thought we were just having a chat.
Well, we were. I was just recording it.
Motherfucker. You allowed to do that in this country? I think you are, actually, to be fair. Legally.
Yeah, I think it's...
Yeah.
We're not in America where it changes state by state.
No. Okay, so I'll stick. I was going to stick that as a plug a little bit later on, but yeah. So I stole Lee for a film podcast this week. So as some people may or may not know, I kind of dabble in other podcasts as well. Obviously, I've got my horror one that I do with my mate Emma. I've got and I'm a regular on a few others. But Mr. Black, who runs the We Made This podcast network, who I've worked with for a long time, he messaged me and asked if I wanted to talk about the Mortal Kombat movie with him. And I went, yeah, I can do that. No worries. Actually, I'd really like to because I'm really excited about it. And one way or another, I'm going to have a lot of shit to say about that film. Whether it be good or bad, I'm going to have a lot of shit to say. And then things kind of changed and Tony couldn't do it, so I ended up doing it with somebody else and he had to pull out, bless him. So I messaged Lee and said, do you want to come talk about Mortal Kombat? Because I knew Lee had seen it as well. And hopefully, so I'm editing this tonight and it will go up tomorrow. So people are listening to this on Friday. On Monday, I think, on the Real Talk podcast, I am very aware there are about 12 Real Talk podcasts, where you spell the real REEL. It's not the most original of titles. I will stick a link in the show notes for the Twitter account for the one that we've actually done the recording for. But yeah, Lee and I spent an hour and a half or something talking about the new Mortal Kombat movie. If people want to listen to that, that'll be sometime next week.
Yeah, I remember that.
The movie or the recording?
Both.
That was a good chat.
It was.
There. I enjoyed that. It's different for me to single out one particular subject. So, you know, even movies. In fact, I've never really done it with a game either. You know, and talk for one particular subject for so long. It was refreshing.
I like it. So I've done a few film podcasts, especially like I've done ones where you talk about a director or a couple of films. I did one a couple of years ago where we spoke for like 2.5 hours, and me and a mate of mine, who's no longer a mate of mine, sadly. Well, not sadly, he's a prick. But we spoke for like 2.5 hours on the Korean Revenge trilogy, so the Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Lady Vengeance, and Old Boy. And I loved it. It's here we talk about how we're doing, and you talk about like shit that's gone on, and then we talk about what we've been playing. We talk a lot, and we cram a fair amount into like an hour and a half to 2 hours. But when you do it just for one subject, you can go into a proper deep dive, and sometimes it can be really fun. Sometimes it comes out sounding like shit. And sometimes, me included, I've done it as well. Sometimes you come in completely unprepared, and you don't know what you're talking about. But sometimes it comes out really well, and I think Juice's one came out really good, actually. I'll let you know, because I'm not editing it. I just took the audio and handed it off to somebody else to edit. It's not my podcast. I just talked on it, or we just talked on it. But yeah, I'd like to do more, but obviously it's a time factor. I do a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of time, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the other thing that we've done. Do you have anything else you want to plug, Lee? Yourself, perhaps? Your mum, maybe. Yeah.
Your mum, perhaps.
I mean, if you really want to.
No, I've not got anything else.
Where can people find you, mate?
So I'm Pyro Loveridge, pretty much anywhere, and also Video Game Wildlife on Twitter, occasionally.
Have you taken any screenshots of the nice fauna in Returnal?
Not really found any fauna specifically, but I have taken pictures of things that are aggressively trying to annihilate me.
Nice. John, where can people find you, mate?
So I am the John_CU on Twitter, and on Xbox Live I am Long Dong Silver.
Cool. And I am Brooker411 on Twitter, and that's it. If you want to talk, if you don't want to join us individually, you want to just follow us as a group, you can find us at Character Unlock on pretty much any social media. Used different, states. Tends to be just Twitter I use because I don't like anything else. But yeah, you can find us at Character Unlock pretty much anywhere. And I suppose that leaves us to just say goodbye. Thank everyone for listening, and we will catch you in a couple of weeks, where I get to put Lee in the hot seat so he can talk about his monthly challenge game. So until the next time, say goodnight, gents.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to give us a little jingle for the exit, Lee? Before I let you off to go play Returnally?